Welcome back to part 2 of our Zoom tutorial. If you haven't watched the first one, I would recommend that you do so. And hey, you're doing great. You've made it this far. So let's go ahead and dive into the Zoom application itself. So I've already launched my first meeting, so let's get into it. All right, so right here, I'm in my first Zoom meeting. What we want to go ahead and do is just start at the bottom of the Zoom toolbar, and we're going to work our way from left to right. Some things are going to be applicable right now in this video, and there's some advanced features that I'll talk about in another video. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first, when you join your meeting, you'll see that there's this join audio here. When you click on it, you can actually join with computer audio, or you can dial into the Zoom meeting. For the most part, you're going to be joining with computer audio here. You'll click on join with computer audio, and then from there, folks will be able to hear you on your mic. You also have an option here to automatically accept that for you every single time you join the Zoom meeting. It's really up to you. But for the sake of this, I'm not going to join it so we don't get feedback here. So yeah, let's go ahead and join computer audio. You can see that it says here you're connected to computer audio. It's connected to my mic. But really what we want to see is this little microphone here. You see this little green line bouncing up and down. That means it's getting audio from us, which means folks should hear us on the other end. But if not, there's a couple of things you can check. You can click on this little arrow, or it's also known as a caret, to see some options here. So you can select your microphone and select the speaker that it's coming out of. You'll notice there's some more options on my screen. That's because I have additional things hooked up because I'm recording this tutorial. Really for you, there should only be 2 things showing up, being that you're either on a laptop that already has a camera and a microphone, or a desktop that has a webcam connected. So from here, I would select the microphone that I'm using and then the speaker that I'm using, which both are correct. But a couple of things that I want to point out are test speaker and microphone, which from here, you can actually hear if there's a ringtone. So right now, since we can't hear a ringtone, let me go ahead and select the other option. We hear that there's a ringtone. I'll click yes.
Click yes.
And then we can hear my audio there. All right, so we've tested the audio. We're good to go. A couple of other options that I want to mention here. You have switched to phone audio, which if you do have any issues during the Zoom, you can go ahead and switch to a phone call and use your phone as a microphone. So you do have that option. I also do want to mention you can also mute the microphone by clicking on the microphone. You'll see that there's a line that's through it. That means your microphone is muted. If you want to unmute your microphone, click on that icon again, and then you're back in business. We have this little video camera here, which means video. So right now, the video is working. You can see me on the screen. But if I wanted to stop the video, I could click that. You see my grumpy cat icon, which a lot of folks know but at this point. And this is what people would see on the screen, which is your Zoom profile picture. If I wanted to turn the video back on, I would click on Start Video, and voila, I'm back on the screen. Now there's a caret icon here next to the video as well, which it does the same thing in regards to you have the option to select your camera. But you also have some additional things like blurring your background, which if I click on blur my background, as you can see, it's blurring my background. It's not doing the greatest job, but 9 times out of 10, if you're in your office and not in a classroom like how I am right now, it should do the trick. Let me go ahead and click that again to turn that off. Or you can choose a virtual background or video filter. I get into that in another video, so we're not going to worry about that right now. Some other things, security, this will allow you to change some settings in your meeting. Lock meeting means other folks can't enter your meeting. Enable waiting room. This is what we talked about in the previous meeting, whether you want the waiting room on or off. So if someone enters your meeting, they have to you have to accept them into your meeting. But you can go ahead and disable that if you'd like. I can go ahead and hide my profile picture, and then I can allow participants to do the following things, which is share screen, chat, rename themselves, unmute themselves, or start and stop their video. A lot of these features are features that rolled over from the webinar, and they integrated them into a regular Zoom meeting. So 9 times out of 10, a regular Zoom meeting should fit your needs. But in any case, this is how you can change those options. Participants, when you click on it, it'll bring up this participants window. And from here, you'll see the participants window, which you have some options here under more, which are all self-explanatory, asking them all to unmute, mute upon entry, lock the meeting. You have the ability to control the waiting room here, and then giving participants the options to do certain things in your meeting as well. You also have this button to mute all the participants. So yeah, that's the participants window, which it's only me, myself, and I, so that's all you see here. I can go ahead and click on participants again to turn off that window. Up next, we have the chat. So this is where if folks are chatting in your meeting, you would see all of that here. You have the ability to change what options the participants have, whether they can chat with everybody, only chat with the host and the co-hosts. Yeah, so not many options. You can turn chat completely off by selecting participant can chat with no one. It's really up to you how you want to customize this. And then when I click on chat, it turns it off. Now, the next thing is share screen, which is a big one. So from here, since I'm on a Mac, you're gonna have to turn on access and security and privacy. So it's pretty straightforward. Here it will walk you through. So I'll click on Open System Preferences. Let me actually close this window so that goes away. And it shows me here what I need to actually authenticate. So let me go ahead and click on the lock to open that. I'll click with this. I can click on later. And then now when I click on share screen, there we go. Now I can share different aspects of my screen. So I have a couple of things open, some things that you're not seeing because I have them running in the background, but I can share things like desktop or individual programs. So under here, I have OBS, which I'm using to record this tutorial. I have Chrome, which has my script. And then I have another Chrome window. I also have the ability to use a whiteboard if I like to. And then 2 important things I want to point out is that if you're sharing your desktop and you plan on playing video in your meeting, you want to make sure share sound here is checked and also optimized for video clip. You also have the ability to change the options here on your share sound. Stereo just means that it's going to be higher quality. Really, mono is fine. More importantly, I think, is that optimized for video clip is selected because that's where you might get some weird video playback when you're trying to play a video in your meeting. So from here, you would go ahead and click on share. So what I'll go ahead and do is use whiteboard as an example, since some folks do ask about a whiteboard feature here in Zoom. So I would click share, and it changes a little bit here. So you'll see that there's this whiteboard, which has all these different whiteboard features here. You know, I can go ahead and write and stamp. This is something I would just recommend you playing with. But I want to point out that the Zoom toolbar does move up, and you still have all your options here. And it will tell you that you are screen sharing. And then once you're done, what you want to go ahead and do is click on stop share, and we're back to where we were at. Polls, I'm going to go ahead and ignore that right now because I get into that in another video. And recording, this is where if you don't have automatic recording on, you would click on record here to record your meeting. So since I'm not recording this, I'll go ahead and click record. And now we see here in the top left that it says recording, which means the Zoom is being recorded. I'll go ahead and stop recording. It'll ask you if you want to stop. Yes. You also have the ability to pause your recording. Closed caption, we do not have this feature because you need a third party to use closed captioning here in Zoom. So you can go ahead and ignore that. Breakout rooms, that's another thing I'm going to ignore. That's an advanced feature, so we'll talk about that in a later video. reaction. So here you can react. It's all your typical emojis and things like that. So if you're in a meeting, you can react using these emojis, and folks in the meeting will see your reaction. So really, the other thing I do want to point out is a view here. This is where you can select your different view options. So you have view, gallery, and immersive. Immersive will put you in this like weird virtual space, and you can actually select what it is. I'll go ahead and do one as an example. So let me select this auditorium, and look at that. I'm in this auditorium. It's kind of hilarious, to be honest. But let's go ahead and go back here, and I'm going to go ahead and stop, and I'm back here in gallery view, which since it's only me, there's no gallery view. But if you're wondering where all the view options are, it's up here on the top right. That's where speakery, gallery, and immersive view is, and you can also go full screen. And last but not least, if you want to end your meeting, you'll click on End Meeting here and End Meeting for all, and that's it. This has been part 2 of everything you need to know about Zoom. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.